Man, so check it out, man. As a barber, I think a lot of people become barbers, and we see this a lot of time on social media. Is we want to become barbers because we think like, oh, I want to be my own boss. I want to create my own schedule. I want to be able to leave the shop whenever I want, right? And there ain't nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of times, that kind of played a factor for me also when I became a barber. I wanted to be able to make my own time and leave when I wanted to, and things of that nature, right? We've all done it. But my real question today on Tank's Take is, who is really the boss of the barber? And what I mean by that is, if you don't own the barbershop, you have a barbershop owner, right? So there's certain rules and regulations that you gotta kind of follow. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, and then if you're a barber, a lot of times you're paying booth rent, or if you are paying booth rent, this is you're a contractor. So yes, technically you still are your own boss, but you still got to follow these rules and regulations, right? Also, we got to take this in consideration. Also, is your clients. If you mess up your client's haircut, your client can fire you. Am I right?
That's a fact.
Right. All right, your client can fire you and say, hey, you're no longer my barber. So, Prince, we're going to ask you first. I want to know, who do you think is actually the boss? Are barbers the boss? Is it the shop owner, or is it the clients?
Yo, I never even pondered on this question before. So, quick take. Let's see, man. Because I've been all of those. I am a shop owner. I've obviously been a barber in other people's establishments. I've been on commission. I've been the traveling barber, where really you're definitely not the boss if you're the traveling barber, I feel like. You know what I mean? So, actually, now that I said that, that's what it would depend on. It would depend on like what avenue you take, because the traveling barber is definitely not the boss. You feel me? And the guy that works in someone's shop and is new to the game, like maybe an apprentice, maybe fresh out of school, he's definitely not the boss.
Yeah.
But then some people, I mean, I've worked in shops with like 6, 7, 8 barbers, and everybody has a full clientele list, and everybody is so booked, and everybody is so good at cutting hair. And honestly, they all move like they're all the boss. And they treat clients like they're the boss. They even treat the owner like they're the boss, because the owner don't want none of them to leave. So, man, that's a great question. And I don't know, it depends on what avenue you are in the game, I guess.
Okay, D, what are your thoughts on this, man? Because once again, man, barbers, we become barbers because we want to make our own hours. We want to be our own boss. That's something we hear all the time in the barber game. Like, oh, I became a barber because I wanted to make my own hours, stuff like that. So what do you think is if you're doing booth rent and you're working in someone's shop, who's the boss? Are you the boss because you create your own hours? Is the shop owner the boss because he's the one that has rules and regulations? Or is the client the boss?
In my opinion, I'm gonna have to piggyback on what Prince said. It depends on what avenue you're taking first. And if you are just in a barber shop, if someone hired you and can fire you, that means you aren't the boss. If they can get rid of you at will, that means you aren't the boss, they're your boss. And they may have a boss, which would be the landlord. They can, get them out of the lease whenever they want. So it depends on what avenue you're taking, if you're the boss or not. And also it would depend on, some people look at booth rent, I'm my own boss. Commission, you're the employee because you get a W-2 or whatever it may be. But I'm gonna go off of what Prince said. It's the same thing as if you are a traveling barber and your clients fire you, you definitely ain't your own boss. And if you hired at a shop, how can you be your own boss if someone hired you?
All right, well, let me ask you the question. I know you got a suite. So do you have a boss, or are you the boss?
Who's the boss in the suite?
My boss's name is Moji. He owns the building.
Okay.
And his boss is the landlord.
So how do you be a boss in the barber industry then? Who can be a boss? How do you become a boss in the barber industry?
So that's
because
how
if you're considering yourself being in the suite, you're still not the boss. Then how do you be a boss in the barber industry?
I believe a shop owner or a suite owner is technically a boss, but at the same time we have
shop owner that owns probably how you stated it, probably shop owner that owns the building.
When I was working in the shop in Texas, Erica, who owned the shop, she was my boss. She was the boss of that barber shop. But of course she has a boss. It's like, they say everybody has a boss. Everybody has somebody who's over them. So how do you become a boss in the barber industry? Jay Majors is a great example. He's definitely a boss. Shop owners, Prince, you own a shop. You are a boss. I own I own a suite. So I would consider myself a boss, but at the same
Right.
time, like I said, I still have a boss. But I'm the boss
Hold
But
on.
that's why I asked you that,
Hold on.
because
Hold on.
you just
Hold
go
on,
ahead,
Prince. I
Tank.
don't mean to cut you
Go
off,
ahead,
but
Tank.
so
Go ahead, Tank.
D is saying everybody's a boss, but I can't be
Yeah,
a boss
yeah,
because
yeah.
I just work in someone else's barbershop. I'm just
no,
asking.
no. That's not what I'm saying. No, look,
No, go ahead, go
it's
ahead.
different based off of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because in your own right, in your own lane, you can be a boss based off of
Right.
you the boss of Clipper unboxings.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
So
you can be a boss.
it's a mindset. It's a
When I
mindset
think
thing.
of who page should I go to see what Clippers is out, what Clippers came out, I'ma think of Tank be chopping. So you the boss when it comes to Clipper
There you go. So
unboxing.
it's a
Prince
mindset thing.
His
Yeah.
charisma is just everybody know. Prince
Yeah.
is with the charisma. He may be the boss of charisma. This may be the boss of motivation. So everybody can be a boss in their own right.
Got you.
All right.
So I
Feels
wanna
like sound like he's saying it's a mindset thing, Tank.
It's a
But that's
mindset.
what I was saying when you were saying you was like Prince is a boss because he owns a shop, and then you are technically a boss because you own a suite. But I'm saying there's no technically about it unless I own the building, because we in the same exact position. Me owning the shop, you owning the suite. I feel like the only difference, I mean, I own a suite as well. I'm in it right now. I feel like the only difference would be, because I own both, that's how I feel, is like the only difference would be is that I could hire somebody you can't, but it's still a business, still LLC, still running the same.
Yeah.
I still got a landlord because I don't own the building. You feel me? So whatever my landlord could terminate our lease for, whatever your landlord could terminate your lease for, my landlord could terminate my lease for. So you just as much as a boss as I am in a suite if I'm owning the shop. Only difference is I could hire and get some help. If anything, shit, you more of a boss. You doing it all on your own.
Well, that was just me being humble.
Yeah, so I want to. I want to add a little bit to this. I wanted to say it earlier,
and I'm doing it all on my own because I can't find no good help. So I'm a boss too.
I think as barbers, man, we put too much on being a boss, right? Like being the boss, or I run things, right? Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I get it. You know, everyone wants to be, not everyone, but a lot of people want to be a boss when it comes to, you know, running a business, right? But I think when you're a business owner, you have a lot of bosses, right? For instance, me, like, yes, I work in a barbershop, but I'm a business owner. I own Tank Be Chopping. My wife and I own Tank Be Chopping, right? That's what we are running, right? But so my boss is obviously my wife. You know, she's one of my bosses, right? But then the shop owner is also my boss because he sets rules and regulations on what I can and can't do at the shop. Now, mind y'all, he's not one of those owners that, oh, you got to be here at this time, you got to do X, Y, and Z. He gives us leniency, but being a boss also lets me know that I have to do things in the shop because that's what bosses do, right? If something happens in the shop, I don't call him and be like, hey, the lights went out, we need to fix them. No, we figured out a way how to fix the lights. Oh, we just got to go get some more light bulbs, right? The restroom needs cleaning, things like that. That makes you a boss. And then also, I want to say is I think that our clients are also our boss because our clients technically can make our schedule. Once again, I know a lot of barbers get into this game because they want to create their own schedule and be their own boss. But when it comes to barbering, in the beginning of your barber career, there's going to be a lot of times when you don't want to cut hair, but they calling you talking about, hey, it's 8:30 at night. Can you cut my hair? Now, if you're really trying to build that clientele, what are you going to do? You're going to go cut some hair. You're going to come in early on Saturday because you've been slow all week and they called you talking about, hey, I need a 6 o'clock in the morning. Can you get me? You're probably going to do it. Not saying you are, but a go-getter barber is going to go get that money at 6 o'clock in the morning. So that's why I say, as barbers, as booth renters, we have a lot of bosses, and I think we have to respect each one, you know, in that manner as they are our boss. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
If we talk crazy to our clients, they're gonna fire us. We can't talk stupid to these clients, right? They're gonna get mad and fire us. If we talk stupid to the shop owner, he's gonna let me go. So we have to understand that it's okay to be a boss, but also have someone helping you run and helping you do what you got to do to get to the bag.
That's 100%.
Budgeting, man. I couldn't explain it any better. Just to top off that segment, I'm gonna say something that I've learned in my experience from owning a barbershop. Before I owned a barbershop, I really always thought my whole life, as soon as I got into the barber industry, was like the top of the mountain for me is owning a barbershop. Can't wait to own a barbershop. Can't wait to own a barbershop because I figured I could help my community. But all the way up until I owned my barbershop, I helped my community so much before I even opened a barbershop that was already out of play already. I already do what I do for the city. But I still wanted to own a barbershop, and I thought that's what I wanted. And once I did, I kind of noticed, and maybe some barbers, maybe before, if you're thinking about going into the shop, or maybe if you're working for somebody and you think that your goal is to own a barbershop, take a little breather and think about it. Do you want to own a barbershop and be in control of other grown men and their habits and all that? Or is it really that you just want to be self-employed? because what happened for me is I just wanted to be self-employed. I just wanted to be able to do things my way, not be told what to do. I wanted the ambience of the room to be how I wanted it to look. I wanted the experience of the client to be everything that I wanted. And once I owned my shop, and then I would hire barbers and they would bring a different vibe, and it wouldn't be like how I want it, or how I would notice like, damn, or I'd have to tell grown men not to curse in front of children, or I would have to tell grown men to try to clean up a little bit before you come to work and don't smell like that, like, and try to say it nicely when honestly I don't even got respect for a grown man that will come to work like that. You feel me? But I'm the boss and I got to talk to you with respect, and I don't even like to be put in those positions. So what I found out is I wanted to be self-employed. So I got me a little suite now, and I'm working on that. And I'm working on my hosting and all that in the industry to grow that way while I have a little suite. But take your time and think about it, man, before you jump into that realm. My brother here, Cole Cutz.
The career that you're trying to build is your boss, right? So I guess that's leaning more towards the client being your boss, the clients that you want, right? Yeah. When you first get in the game, you cut any and everybody, right? You're dealing with all type of people. So you're all over the place. You know that there's an ideal client that you want, and you want them to pay this specific price. Because if you come in over here to be your own boss, you leaving a job with one boss to come get about 100, 200 bosses is what you're trying to do. Because this game ain't about being your own boss, but that's the problem. It's too much flexibility.
Absolutely.
Being a barber, you have a lot of flexibility. It's attractive to people with no structure in their life. So you think you're gonna not have a boss to come over here, still smoke weed, sag your pants, be late, all of that, and it's gonna be okay. It don't work like that, because there's a cap on every barber that's doing those type of things, right? So I guess I'm leaning more towards the client being your boss.